So I know I recently complained about corporate dysfunctionality and how much harder it is to navigate customer service, but I'm not done yet. I've also got to complain about an increasing, or rather decreasing, in quality control. And I'm not talking about products themselves, because we are all hopefully aware that capitalism has fueled the insidious practice of planned obsolescence, but I am also talking about service trades. I thought that maybe I was just being naive or being negative. Like, sure, I feel like a couple decades ago, it wasn't so hard to find someone to do a job and actually be able to expect them to perform to a certain standard. Maybe I was just young and hadn't been exposed enough to life. But as I've listened to the issues that my partner and his family have been facing when hiring outside contractors to finish a house, I know this cannot be true. Standards are getting worse. And I'll admit, it's a flawed system. Price of living is rat fucked. Wages haven't kept up with inflation. I get it. I know it. But at the same time, there are a lot of blue collar positions that are raising their prices to maintain their quality of life while not providing the bare minimum in the specialized skills they're supposed to provide. And I'm not being a blue collar hater, okay? I was one. I'm about to be one again, actually. I worked with them interpersonally and competitively, and frankly, I found attitudes and capabilities lacking all around. But it is hitting a point where you can literally hire someone to do one job and they won't even do that right. And it's like pulling teeth, getting accountability. My partner's sister bought a house a couple years ago. The housing market was still pretty bad, but she's got inside connections and basically found the cheapest property that had been on sale in our area for God knows how long. And she made the questionable decision to completely gut the house, which would have been fine if she was planning to move in and live there herself to make it exactly how she wanted. But once the goal became to recoup the debt that she's gone into, the priority should not have been to continue to install all the literally most expensive features possible just for tenants to use. I'm talking thousands of dollars of light fixtures in a single bathroom, all right? Like genuine excessive luxury, not just a difference in preference, okay? And even though they'd brought it down to a shell of a house, there was still things that were absolutely unavoidably fucked that without tearing the whole thing down, there isn't much to do about it. Like, we were strapping the ceiling to make it level, and we just find floating joists or missing ones. And it was around then that me and Z unfortunately realized we would have to build our own house from the ground up if we didn't want to deal with whatever bullshit. All of the cut corners that a pre owned might have. But even since then, as they've moved on to flooring and drywall, electrical, and plumbing, we've also learned that you can't hire anyone else to do a job and actually expect them to do it, apparently. And that's so upsetting and even more overwhelming. Like, the guy that installed her faucet quite literally didn't install it level with the counter. Like, how do you phone it in that hard? The other day, her father had to drive to another town to get accountability for the vanity that she'd ordered. Despite being a pre planned manufactured build, somehow they'd put holes in the wrong spots, so the very bottom drawer was skewed. It's a $4,000 vanity. How does that even happen? One of the biggest oofs they've had on the project was the siding. She wanted a custom siding. She picked the color, paid extra, put in an order for all of the material for us to install. We get it, start unpacking it, and something is not right. So we sort through the pile, and almost 2/3 of it was too warped to use, which is unacceptable. And my partner's family is in the business of wood. Like, they're not strangers with process. And it was clear to them that the kilning must have just literally been skipped along the ways. Like, tens of thousands of dollars of product ruined through negligence in the process. Like, you'd think that they could care enough to quality control that. But nah. And those are only some of the things that I've helped with and vicariously experienced. There's more instances that I don't get relayed all the time. I know it's not just me being cynical, that you used to be able to trust people to do their specific, singular, higher force skill correctly. Because my father-in-law has confirmed, Never in his career has he ever had to check up on people so much to make sure they're doing their job. It's like how I put in another video, like quiet quitting only works to an extent, like there is a limit. If you can't be arsed to evenly squirt ketchup on a burger, then I'm sorry, you shouldn't be there at all. It doesn't take more effort to do that correctly. It's just a matter of giving a shit and not being malicious. But that level of uncaring seems to have spread everywhere now. Like, you can't hire someone with a singular task of installing a faucet and leave them to it, not to come back and find that it's not even attached flat. Like, what are things coming to? How did we get here? I don't want to feel like it's us against the world all the time. Getting to a point of buying a house someday is difficult as it is. I don't want to be paranoid that we cannot trust anyone but ourselves to provide proper value or do things right the first time. But we can't afford to waste thousands of dollars on other people's fuck ups. Like, at this point, unfortunately, not only does it feel like we won't find a place that's like not so full of problems that we shouldn't have just started from scratch, but that we can't outsource any of the labor after the fact either. I don't want to build a whole house myself, man.